Oh. Uh. Uh. Alright, Internet. It's about time for you to take my mind off of, the entire world ending. What do you got for me? YellowFlash 2? Wait a minute, I remember this guy. Oh god, it's been forever. Well, man, has his content gotten any better?
Basically, kind of stomping any hopes and dreams that he might start making easy games, which isn't going to happen. As much as mainstream blue checkmark journalists want that to happen, they desperately want some version of this game where they can run around and just press X and just demolish everything, like an invisible mode, because they want to experience the story.
Okay. 1 second. C 111 111 1111.
Hello, and welcome to the customer service hotline for Hell. We regret to inform you our visiting hours have passed. In order to leave inquiries or questions, please select which circle of hell you would like to contact. For limbo, press 1. For lust, press 2.
Option number 7.
Thank you for calling. Please hold for our next available representative.
Hello, you have reached Karina McDaniel's 7th Circle of Hell customer service. I'm sorry I can't reach the phone. It's most likely because some fuckhead thought it would be funny to flush a huge pile of baby wipes down the toilet. Either way, please leave a message and I'll get back to you if I feel like it, okay? Bye.
Hey, Karina, it's me. Listen, so YellowFlash 2, you remember that guy? He made a really bad video, and you should probably talk about it. It'll be great. So I'll send it to you. I'll get a script together, and yeah, do your thing. Goodbye. Love you. This gonna be good.
Well, I was hoping to enjoy a nice vacation. Just trying to ignore the idea that the whole world is in danger of nuclear war, casual shit. Just when I'm getting settled, you'll never guess what my eternal mortal slave just sent me. A YellowFlash 2 video. For the new guys here, YellowFlash 2 is basically another carbon copy of Geeks and Gamers, but with drastically reduced personality. Not gonna lie, I totally forgot this man existed until about 2 weeks ago when IceCat, my artist, sent me this screen cap of YellowFlash tweeting that he didn't give a fuck about Ukraine, even though he made several videos talking about it. Oh, you don't care, do you? Huh. I think you kinda do, buddy. I mean, what are these? Were these videos just a joke then? I mean, I don't personally care if you don't care about Ukraine, but don't lie to me, YellowFlash. I don't appreciate that. Then again, this is the exact kind of cognitive dissonance I've come to tolerate in the fandom menace community. This is the same guy who thinks he looks like a rational adult when he's using a military knife to cut up comics he doesn't like.
In a world of Marvel comics that are full of effeminate cucked men and cutesy books, we get a book full of effeminate cucked men trying to be cutesy hipster. So no, I don't recommend it. I think it's shit. And it's getting the knife.
What I find strange is that YellowFlash has actually been getting a lot of views recently, which makes him one of the few paradoxes of the fandom menace cycle, right next to Clownfish TV. The fandom menace cycle can be described as the cycle that starts with The Rise. They gain an audience from their mass-produced videos on the most up-to-date, quote-unquote, entertainment news, quote-unquote. Unfortunately, there still is a market of angry, mostly male gamers who want to be told that the left is ruining everything they ever loved. These kind of people don't want to know the truth. They say they do, but they don't really want to know the truth. Instead, they want a scapegoat. They want something to blame. The kind of people who hate bias but don't realize that they are substantially more biased than the people they hate. But either way, they do well, some better than others, but inevitably they reach stagnation. They still get views, but subscribers are becoming further and farther in between, especially when these guys realize that there are like literally 50 other channels that provide the exact same information. The fandom menace rip each other off so often, I would laugh if one of them tried to sue the other, because it would just be a clusterfuck of accusations of theft. In that case, I think Geeks and Gamers should sue all of them, because he has a good chance of winning. But anyway. After stagnation, inevitably there will be a time when the fandom menacer will say something so impossibly dumb that not even their own fan base can defend them. See also Mecha Random 42. But this doesn't always happen. Sometimes the fandom menacer will just act like a complete jackass that puts off everybody except the most toxic of asshole fans. See also Ethan Van Scriber and No Bullshit. This will lead to a long and painful decline in relevancy. At this stage, their view count is barely a fraction of their subscriber count. This will usually lead to the fandom menacer quitting their YouTube career altogether. See also Josiah Rises. For those who don't quit, they'll find themselves uploading subpar content daily for diminishing views. They get stuck in a cycle where they just have to keep making content about strict subjects, and any deviation will lead to tanking view counts. And I mean, knowing all that, maybe I could be wrong in this case. Maybe YellowFlash 2 is finally making better content and it's paying off. At the same time, I could win the lottery tomorrow. Possible? Sure. Likely? No. Hey, Karina, are you actually going to talk about the video? Yeah, I will. I've stalled long enough. The only problem I've been having is the most boring part of the video will be YellowFlash talking. I mean, I really can't express in words how boring YellowFlash really is. That's originally why I scrapped some of the content concerning him. I just find it hard to make it entertaining, because it sounds like he just doesn't give the slightest shit about what he's saying. I mean, I have to be real. I don't know what people see in this guy. I'll talk shit about Jeremy all day long. At least Jeremy has a personality. Jeremy has a fire in his belly. Jeremy will stand up there and say stupid bullshit with pride and vigor, but YellowFlash? It sounds like he just wants to go to bed. He's counting down the seconds before he gets to clock out and go home. This video is about Elden Ring. It seems like the hottest topic in the universe right now, so YellowFlash has been a busy little bee. He's been busting his ass to complain about every critic who has an opinion he doesn't like. But again, if you've been watching the fandom menace for any length of time, you would know that this is their bread and butter. This video is titled, Deal With It. Deal with it. Very strong, very verbose. The title is a good place to start because it highlights the biggest problem I have with YellowFlash. He has this like typical clickbaity large font with something angry and provocative in the title, but then you watch the actual video and I kid you not, this actual video for the first 2 full minutes is just him mumbling about Elden Ring, it being a good game and that he likes it.
So for the most part, I would say people are enjoying Elden Ring. There is, of course, a few people that are having some performance issues. You cannot deny that. But for the most part, it does seem that people feel like the game has delivered what was promised. An open world Souls game that keeps delivering. Most people I've talked to are in love with the game. I've been having a blast with it over on Twitch, and I'm looking forward to getting back on the game later today. It's an addicting game. If you're into this kind of gameplay, you're going to love it. Most people on the user scores here over on Metacritic also note that they like the game. The biggest problem isn't the difficulty, it's the fact that there's some performance issues.
Today, class, we'll be learning about the Roman Empire. I'm gonna fall asleep. That's why it's essential for your barbarians in the front to tank, or your archers in the back, so you can penetrate the effect of the Spartan barbarians on the Second Punic War, which ran from this UAT.
It takes him 2 minutes to explain that. Oh, God. You know, this is not what I imagined the video would be like. I mean, from that title, I expected him to come out from the gate frothing at the mouth, pissed the hell off. All right, everyone, here's some stupid piece of shit who has an opinion that made me angry today. But instead it's like, yeah, Elden Ring is a good game, that's good and stuff, and everyone agrees it's good and stuff, and I like the game, I think it's good and stuff, and it's also really popular and stuff, that makes it really good and stuff, and I'm also really hungry. I wish I had a Taco Bell burrito right now. Did my check clear yet? I mean, seriously, like, I stopped caring a long time ago. So for full disclosure, I cut out the first 2 minutes of the video because it's what he says after that interests me.
But anyway, I want to get into something that the director of the Souls franchise has come out and said, basically kind of stomping any hopes and dreams that he might start making easy games, which isn't going to happen. As much as mainstream blue checkmark journalists want that to happen, they desperately want some version of this game where they can run around and just press X and just demolish everything, like an invisible mode, because they want to experience the story. To me, it's gameplay first with Souls games. I look into the story a little bit, but I just really love playing these games.
Wow. Okay, there are so many things wrong with this. I don't know where to start. First off, I've never heard anyone argue they wanted Dark Souls to be trivial. They don't want to just press X and kill everything. That was never the argument. Sure, it's an exaggeration, but it's not funny because it's so wildly inaccurate. The majority of the time I've heard people argue for Dark Souls to be easier, it's that they wanted an easy mode, an easy difficulty setting. They don't want the game to be trivial. They want the game to be less challenging. Those are not even close to the same thing. Things like level design, boss design, and movesets are difficult to change, which is why they don't argue that they changed that. Instead, they'll usually argue that they want to change things like player health and enemy damage. You know, those things are much easier to change on a whim and not destroy the entire game in the process. Now, personally, I think there's far more people who are angry about this opinion than there are people who actually hold this opinion, but I don't know, maybe that's just me. But still, we can argue all day long about how Dark Souls should be played. I agree. Dark Souls should be hard. I like that it's a punishing game and it forces you to learn its mechanics. But why does it matter what I like? These people clearly don't like it for the same reasons that I do, so why should they have to enjoy it the same way I do? Because it'll make me feel better? I mean, come on, that's stupid. More importantly, who's affected by an easy mode in Dark Souls? It wouldn't change the fundamental game. It would appeal to more people who don't have like 6 hours a day to practice dodging every boss's attack moves. I mean, who is harmed by a decision like this? I'll tell you who is. They're called hardcore gamers. Hardcore gamers are the only people who are actually upset by this idea that people might enjoy a game for different reasons than they do, employing such popular and well thought out arguments like get good. The kind of people who unironically use get good as an argument proves to me that they don't understand Dark Souls as well as they think they do. Difficulty? Now get this. Difficulty is not the best part of Dark Souls. I know that's hard to believe given what the marketing has told you, but no, it's actually not even close. The difficulty, as explained by Miyazaki himself, is supposed to be punishing, and it's supposed to help convey the harshness of the environment through gameplay alone. When it comes to things that make Dark Souls good, difficulty is far from number one. What makes Dark Souls good is its tight controls that are responsive and fluid. The level design is smart and feels more like an open world than a linear game. The game doesn't tell you where to go all the time, putting more of an emphasis on exploration and discovery. The story of Dark Souls is also really good because of how it's told. It's told through the environment and NPCs' dialogue. The tone of the world is very bleak, but you as the player are that one beacon of hope, the chosen undead or unkindled based on which game you play. Nobody except the Firekeeper really believes in you. Nobody expects you to save the world. Hell, they don't even think you're fighting a worthwhile battle, but in the end, no matter how many times you die, eventually, with enough perseverance, you can link the flame and keep the Fire Age alive. Now, is that a good thing? Well, much like a Facebook relationship, it's complicated. And that's my review of Dark Souls. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like, favorite, and subscribe. Wait, what do you mean this isn't a review of Dark Souls? Oh, right, I was talking about YellowFlash. Do I have to? He's so boring. I'm hoping the point should be obvious, but I'll sum it up by saying if you're upset about people who wanted easy mode, 1, you have a laughably surface level understanding of Dark Souls, and 2, you have no business calling anyone else a snowflake. Think about it. You're getting upset about an option you never have to touch and might make a game more accessible to somebody who isn't like you and doesn't have fun the same way you do. How is that not snowflake behavior? I think what pisses me off the most is that little giggle he does at the idea that people would care about the story. I mean, I should first point out that that's the first sign of actual human emotion in this video, and it's nothing but passive-aggressive contempt. Huh, you care about the story and don't care about the gameplay like I do? That's what I think of you, fucking loser. I only care about the gameplay because it makes my wee-wee feel big because I'm good at hard video games. Maybe you should learn how to have fun, loser. I am superior to you. It's amazing to me. It's truly fascinating that people like YellowFlash bitch all day long, all night long, every single day about how people keep calling him toxic. Why do people keep calling me toxic? Why does the evil mainstream media keep calling gamers toxic? Oh, golly gee willikers, Scooby-Doo, we got a mystery on our hands. I mean, YellowFlash, do you listen to yourself? I mean, like actually listen to the things you say on a regular basis? Maybe that will help you figure it out. I can just tell from the title that you're a toxic asshat. Deal with it, you exclaim to no one in particular, presumably to people who want an easy difficulty for Elden Ring. You're not here to have an intelligent discussion about video game difficulty. You're here to mock people you don't like and pretend like you're intellectually superior to strangers on the internet. Even worse is that you have to strawman their positions so hard. You know, if you have to strawman, maybe that's because your opinions don't stand up on their own. At the very least, do a better job hiding the fact that you're strawmanning your opposition. Speaking of strawmanning, he does the same thing in this article that he references later in the video by bounding into comics. He said he did a video on this already. Most of you already know what bounding into comics is, but if you don't, I'll sum it up real quick. Diversity, bad. Left, bad. SJWs want to ruin my video games. Hollywood, bad. Media bias, bad. Except when we do it, then it's fine. Yeah, there you go. That's bounding into comics in a nutshell. If you bitch about media bias and then quote bounding into comics, that's like saying torture is bad unless America is the one doing it. So instead of listening to YellowFlash reading this article while trying not to fall asleep, let me show you the article that bounding into comics is referring to. It's an article by Ash Parrish of The Verge, and it's titled, Elden Ring's character creator fails black people. Fails black players, sorry. Oh man, this title is almost tailor-made to piss off bounding into comics, and they took the bait so hard. Is that a hyperbolic title? Yeah, I think so. That's also how every journalist ever makes a title. That's how opinion websites get their clicks, after all. I have the article on screen if you want to read it too, because I'm about to quote from it. Quote, I'm a character creator aficionado. It's an enduring obsession from the days of the dress-up Flash games in the early aughts. Playing with a character creator is one of my favorite forms of expression. I delight in fiddling with them, using them as a kind of blank canvas with which I can test new hairstyles and makeup colors that I can then use on my real flesh. Bounding into Comics points to the failure of black people quote. Well, let's show you the context of that very line. Quote, not having a diverse number of hairstyles ultimately doesn't diminish my experience with Elden Ring. The game is pretty damn great, and that's coming from someone who isn't that much of a From Software fan. I just don't understand how a game, after numerous calls for greater diversity and developers acknowledging its black community members through Black Lives Matter posts and well wishes to Black History Month, can still fail to account for black players. It's certainly a choice in the year 2022, one that unfortunately reinforces a culture of exclusion already epidemic to video games. Whoa, hey, slow down with that hot take. That's quite an opinion there. Whether or not you agree with this opinion doesn't really matter, it's just an opinion. If this kind of perspective makes you irrationally angry, well, it shouldn't. People with these opinions have existed long before video games and will exist long after. If even the slightest divergence of the norm is enough to ruin video games for you, maybe it isn't other people that's the problem. Maybe you were the problem all along. Now, me personally, I could see your point. Is it the most important thing in the universe? Not to me, no. But that's just my opinion. I don't care nearly as much as she does. And I think despite what the title might suggest, this article was meant to convey a disappointment in a lack of a feature that personally mattered a lot. So, yeah. I think that's enough of this video. Zoink, Scoob! That was bad, boring, unoriginal, and hugely hypocritical on every level. As soon as you cite bounding into comics as a legit source, I'm not taking anything you say seriously from that moment on. Some might try to disregard my entire opinion by saying, you didn't actually watch the whole video. You didn't even watch the whole video, and this is dumb, and it's wrong, and I hate it, and it's bad. You're dumb and stupid, and dumb and bad and dumb and stupid head McDum-dum. Well, here, kiddo, look at it this way. If you invite me to dinner, and then piss directly in my mouth, don't get mad at me when I don't stay for a chocolate fudge sundae. I don't have to wonder where that probably came from. You could stick your dick in a wedding cake, and it could still be perfectly good cake. You could spend the next 8 hours trying to convince people it's still good cake, but no one is going to eat it because you stuck your dick in it. In conclusion, get your dick out of my wedding cake, YellowFlash. I'm Karina McDaniels, and if you leave before liking this video, I'm going to dodge roll behind you and punch you in the nuts. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go put a saddle on a dolphin and ride him like a horsey. Peace, dog.